Welcome back everybody to another episode of Hogs Bootcamp, where today we shall be focusing on the super sneaky, hidey, sniping, shooty, it's everyone's favourite, the Espionage class. Just as it is with every class in the game, this one is made up of 3 individual ranks. You've got the Scout.
Ain't so hard now, are you fat cakes?
The Sniper.
God, I'm good at being an owl.
And the Spy.
I am the prettiest unicorn.
Okay, enough with the Team Fortress 2 references, although it is kind of funny how they do share the same names. Anyway, the Scout sits with 75 health, the Sniper with 90, and the Spy with 120, which is exactly the same health pools as every other class. So the Scout is our first introduction into this class, and really it isn't able to do an awful lot. But you are immediately introduced to 3 new items, being that of the Pickpocket, the Poison Gas, and the Hide ability. The most important one, of course, being the Pickpocket, as this is essentially what this class is famous for. However, at the rank of Scout, you can only use this ability once, so you need to make it count. The Pickpocket is all about targeting, either a class or a character that you know has some juicy weapons or abilities. It also comes down to the situation, so what state is your team in? Do I need to inflict some damage, or is a member of my team in need of some heals? Again, because you can only use this ability once at this rank, it does come down to luck. The Pickpocket takes a weapon from your target at random, so you never 100% know what exactly you're going to get. So if you end up taking a trotter or a pistol from an enemy player, then that's tough luck because you cannot change that. Meanwhile, the Poison Gas is a very handy tool when it comes to range. The Scout is still stuck though with the standard issue rifle, so no real change from the Grunt other than the increase in health and the removal of the grenades, but the single use of the Poison Gas does inflict some long-term damage to the enemy pigs. The Hide ability is great for providing yourself with some extra armor against enemy fire, or in Hogs of War's case, the enemy pigs will end up ignoring you if you are hidden, but you must remember that you aren't actually doing anything when you use it. You're only saving the skin of that one particular piggy, which in the long run isn't exactly effective or efficient. But oh baby, when you upgrade to the Sniper, you get the sweet increase in health and the introduction to the beautiful, the wonderful, the ultimately powerful, snippety old sniper rifle. Suddenly, you are actually able to do somewhat helpful things for your team, not to mention being slightly terrifying to enemy players, as the sniper rifle allows you to inflict 40 damage at very long range, and you are also gifted an extra Pickpocket and the worst weapon in the game of the Suicide, which I'm not going to go into because that weapon just sucks so much. The third and final rank within the Espionage class is the Spy. So being at the highest rank within this class means that you have the most weapons. You still have your trusty sniper rifle, but with the addition of an extra Pickpocket, some cattle prods, and a single TNT. It's also worth noting that the Spy is the only character in the single player campaign that has the cattle prods. Enemy spies are notorious for using their TNTs at close range, but the huge weakness of this class comes along when 2 spies actually come up against each other. Now if one spy uses their Pickpocket on another spy and manages to take their pickpockets, then that means that they will have a total of 6 pickpockets to use, which is insane. So that pig with those 6 pickpockets can ultimately take away the enemy spy's entire arsenal. However, even if the player does this, the enemy spy or the AI spy will still have the ability to hide even if they have everything taken away. It was probably a choice that was made by the developers, as perhaps they felt as if the spy should always be able to hide rather than continuously skip their go, because if an enemy pig or if an AI pig continuously skips their go and doesn't do anything for a while, then after a decisive amount of time they're actually gifted a crate that usually contains an infinite bazooka. That's totally fair, by the way. The Spy is indeed a formidable foe, but an unreliable one at that. We know that they are deadly with the sniper rifle, but sometimes, just as it is with the Sniper, they can become lazy and rely too heavily on their Hide ability. I know that many of us have spent many hours fighting against these enemy snipers and spies that have simply remained in the same spot and continuously hid away from the fight, which, to be honest, is fine because at the end of the day all you really want to do is progress through the level. So we know the ups and downs of the class from today's game, but how exactly has it changed in terms of development? How did the Espionage class used to be, and how does it differ from the final version of the game? Well, as far as I can tell, the Spy has always been at the heart of this class. We've spoken previously about the mystery pig who looks kinda similar to the Spy, but isn't quite there yet. Probably has something to do with that funky hat and the weird pencil moustache, but either way, I feel like this has set the premise for what was to come. Alongside the possible spy, there was also the super thin sniper who really needed to gain some extra calories because damn, you're looking too skinny, CJ. No, but seriously, I don't know why he is extra skinny or why he has an extra pair of eyes on top of his glasses, but either way, it's really weird. The key thing to note at this point though is that the Scout did not exist, or at least it didn't appear to be that way, as there was no real way of telling what class was what besides what we already know visually from today's game. Further on in development though, we saw the Spy take on the shape that we know from today's game alongside something unexpected. So the structure of the Espionage class was considerably different back in the day. For starters, the Sniper was the lowest rank you could be. With 120 health, this rank was only equipped with a knife and a sniper rifle. That's pretty much it for him, but one step up from that and you have the Spy, who had 140 health and was equipped with the same stuff as the Sniper, but with the addition of some poison gas. Exciting. So for those of you who watched my sniper rifle video, you will of course know that it was fairly difficult to actually deal some form of damage with this gun, as the early aiming system really sucked and the damage numbers were different, dealing only 25 damage per shot rather than the standard 40 that we know from today. Now the final step up within the Espionage class was actually the Saboteur. Visually, this character looked the same as the Commando, but at this point in development the Commando looked more like the Paratrooper from multiplayer. A little bit confusing, I know, but the Saboteur had 150 health and was armed with a knife, some cattle prods, the sniper rifle, poison gas, TNT, suicide, and the pickpocket ability. Slightly earlier in development, the weapons available to the Saboteur were slightly different, offering the likes of the bazooka, the trotter, a knife, a pistol, a rifle, a sniper rifle, special ops, and 3 unknown abilities. The first one appears to be a pig showing 2 fingers in the sign of peace, so perhaps a form of surrender. The other one being a pair of red lips, so perhaps that was a way of healing. And finally, the last unknown ability shows, I guess, a pig's face, but I'm unsure what the yellow background is meant to represent. Is it hair? Is it gas? Maybe it was a way of disguising, or maybe it was an early symbol used for a gas weapon. It's all up for speculation at this point. You can certainly see a similar structure when it came to the weapons available to these characters, particularly the Saboteur. In the early days, the cattle prods were extremely effective in pushing pigs off the map, but that could have been because physics and collision for the game were being finalized and were not complete. This is the only point in Hogs of War development where we see a clear distinction in uniforms, with the Spies and Saboteurs being colored in like a black or grey alongside their regular team colors. It does look cool, but also a little strange if you end up with a large amount of these characters on your team. I'm glad they didn't stick with the colour schemes, mainly because the darker base colour is too similar to the German grey uniform. In the early days I feel that the Sniper and Spy were considerably lacking, but that could have been because they were still in testing and trying to find what would work best in terms of their weaponry. The primary thoughts I have about the Espionage class at this stage in development is that they are nowhere near as threatening compared to their modern day equivalent. I guess it's mainly because of how weak the sniper rifle was, seeing as it's known as being a key element to the Espionage arsenal, yet at this point it just really sucked. Of course, the biggest difference is simply the fact that the Saboteur is part of the Espionage class, which is understandable because the Saboteur, as the name implies, is someone whose job it is to sabotage the enemy's plans. So the role kind of fits into both the Engineer and the Espionage class, but as the development progressed on, the Architect in the Engineer class was removed and the Saboteur was transferred over, which then meant that the Spy would take the highest rank in the Espionage class and the Scout was created to fill the gap at the bottom of the chain. Simple. So that brings everything full circle in terms of this class's history, but how does it fare when it comes to gameplay and strategy? Well, despite their immediate weaknesses, the Espionage characters are seen as some of the most deadly in the game. Most notably because, as previously mentioned, the overpowered pickpocket ability and sniper rifle combo helped to keep this class at the forefront of proceedings. As I'm sure many of you have done before, it's always great to save a spy or two for the final mission and use them to pinch the legendary shockwave weapon from the legends. Not only that, but this ability is great at denying the enemy the option of dealing particular types of damage.
Lovely.
As previously discussed, the fact that you can sometimes take a pig's entire arsenal away is just insane, but equally as deadly. This class does of course have the extra overall ability of being hidden on the minimap, so positioning is key to the success of any sniper or spy. I don't include the Scout in this because half the time I just tend to use them as cannon fodder, primarily because of their low health and lack of a sniper rifle. But yeah, positioning yourself in high reach out of sight places is key to this character, that and actually having a good aim. It's all very well saying that this class is great because of X, Y and Z, but ultimately it comes down to you dealing the decisive blow and connecting with those shots. A lot of the time though, you'll actually find that the sniper rifle can be quite forgiving, as the hitboxes for certain pigs is fairly large. Overall though, that is everything for the Espionage class. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something new about this rank of pig that you didn't know before. What do you think about it? Let me know everything you have to say in the comments. Let's get a discussion going as we always do. But in the meantime, that is going to wrap everything up. So that's 3 classes down, 1 to go in terms of bootcamp videos. But don't worry, this series will continue going forward. I hope you guys can stick around, check out my other videos, and I will catch you guys later for the next one.